What's up, guys? This is Ian here, coach of your Ladner Lanturn, bringing you guys our aABL Week 2 match against FizzleTheHizzle and his Tampa Bay Buizels. So let's run through Fizzle's team. He has Jirachi, which is his Z user, Buzzwole, Donphan, Clefairy, Sneasel, Registeel, Drampa, which is his Z user, Mega Diancie, Suicune, Magmortar, Vileplume, and Thundurus-Therian, which is his Z user. So going into this match, I was not expecting the Buzzwole, the Drampa, the Magmortar, or the Vileplume. Vileplume, I think, is absolute ass against my team. Drampa, again, another ass spawning against my team. Buzzwole, I thought that because I had a Skarmory, there's no reason for him to bring Buzzwole, just because my team, and Mega Gardevoir, my team actually handles Buzzwole really, really well defensively. So I didn't think that he was going to bring that, but he, as you see on the screen, he did. And Magmortar doesn't have a great matchup just because of its speed tier. Nidoking naturally outspeeds it. Weavile destroys it with a knockoff. Flygon naturally outspeeds it with Earthquake and stuff like that. Rotom-Wash can outspeed it and kill it with a Hydro Pump. I mean, it's not even that great of a switch into Mega Gardevoir because its defenses are kind of meh, so I kind of wasn't expecting the Magmortar, but as you can see on the screen, it's there. In my mock against Jay, he ended up bringing Magmortar as well. He brought a weird set. It was like Power Herb Solar Beam, I think, is the set that he brought. I'm not expecting to see that here. I'm expecting the Assault Vest set. It kind of makes a lot of sense to me. And it can handle Nidoking, kind of. It can kind of handle Rotom as well. I'm surprised to not see the Registeel. I was really shocked to not see the Registeel, actually. It's like his best Mega Gardevoir switch-in is Registeel, by far. Besides that, Jirachi is a switch, in quotations, with Shadow Ball chip and then switching into Incineroar, which is a really good switch into Jirachi. It's dead to a Darkest Lariat plus the Shadow Ball chip, regardless of his Spidef investment or if he's Assault Vested or not. So I don't think that's a reliable check to Mega Gardevoir. I think Registeel was still the play, so I was really shocked to not see that. I'm a little bit surprised to not see the Suicune. I prepped a lot for the Suicune, and I'm shocked to not see the Suicune. I think my team struggles mightily with Suicune. I don't have good phasing options outside of Skarmory, so I had to bring phasing because Suicune's such a threat. Mega Diancie I'm not surprised to see. Mega Diancie's got a really good matchup against me. Donphan I'm not surprised to see. It frees up the Mega Diancie from not having to run rocks, and since he didn't bring Registeel, his Jirachi might be carrying them, but I'm expecting the Donphan to have them. What else? Sneasel, I was kind of mixed bag on Sneasel. I think Sneasel has a good matchup against my team. Relatively good matchup against my team, especially because he needed like a knockoff user to deal with Dusclops. Otherwise, Dusclops kind of walls something like a Buzzwole and can just destroy it. But then again, Weavile outspeeds his Sneasel, and I can kill it with a low kick kind of thing. So I'm not super shocked to see what I'm seeing. He's got priority in Donphan with Ice Shard. That's all that he could have priority with on this team that I know of. So Serena is going to be able to block that with Mach Punch. Sorry, Mach Punch. He doesn't have Mach Punch. Serena's going to be able to block it with Queenly Majesty, sorry. He has 3 Stealth Rockers in Donphan, Jirachi, and Diancie that he brought. His removal options that he brought are Thundurus with Defog and Donphan with Rapid Spin potentially. He brought 2 of his 4x weaknesses in Buzzwole to Flying and Diancie to Steel. And so that's about that. If you haven't seen my team builder, you should check it out because I love talking and I explain about the whole team. We are bringing, if you haven't, I'll talk about it really quickly. We're bringing a defensive Rotom-Wash with enough speed to outrun Suicune creeping min speed. We're bringing a Life Orb 4 attacks Weavile, Assault Vested Incineroar. We're bringing a Scarf Nidoking, a specially defensive Skarmory, and a Black Belt Serena. So, going right into things, I think Serena is probably the best lead for me against his team. So I'm just going to lead with Serena as he's actually going to lead with his Thundurus. This thing can't really touch me, and HP Flying doesn't do a whole lot. HP Ice is more what I'm expecting because of things like Nidoking and Flygon, which would otherwise outright wall this thing. He doesn't really have the liberty of being able to run HP Flying against my team, and overall it's not the best coverage for him against my roster. So I'm going to click U-turn on turn 1 because I don't think that he's staying in on my Serena because HP Ice is not doing very much to an Assault Vested variant, and I'm not even Assault Vested, I'm just max HP. So he's actually going to U-turn out himself. That shows me, that damage, just real quick before we say that he's going to Buzzwole, that damage shows me that he is timid. That is a low... Sorry, it's a mid-roll from a timid, no attack Thundurus. So we know he's probably specially offensive, which we can usually gather because it's a base 145 special attack Mon. However, you can't really say that it's not going to be physically attacking because it is a base 105 attack. So, you know, there's all the possibilities in the world in Draft League. So I'm actually just going to click U-turn as he goes into Buzzwole, which I guess is his offensive check to this, or his defensive check to this. I'm not sure what he was expecting. Power Whip was actually doing about 50% to the Thundurus, and I could have gone for it, but it wouldn't have done crap to the Buzzwole anyway. So I'm going to U-turn out, and we see, based on that damage, that it's probably... bring in my Rotom here. That damage on the U-turn shows that it's likely a physically defensive set. It is definitely a plus defense nature, so I'm imagining Impish. Adamant, there's no way that gets a roll for Adamant. And looking at the standard Smogon set for Buzzwole, it's probably that. It's probably that. That's kind of what I was seeing at least from that damage. Rotom comes out here. I am designed to take on this Buzzwole really well. We're physically defensive with Will-O-Wisp, and so I'm just going to click the Will-O-Wisp here, which he may or may not be expecting. I am going to outspeed him because I'm speed creeping over no speed Buzzwole, which is typically what it's running, and based on the investment that we saw from the U-turn, it's not running any speed. In the mock, Jay brought a sub Focus Punch Buzzwole, and that was really, really scary, so I wanted to avoid that, but we are going to get the burn off on this thing. Drain Punch is doing now pretty much no damage after the burn and stuff, and now I'm pretty free to just click Hex as he brings in his Thundurus. I'm not sure why he would have wanted to do that. Maybe to scout for the Volt Switch is probably what I'm imagining. But I get the Hex damage off, which is kind of cool. Showing... I was considering double Will-O-Wisping because Buzzwole basically couldn't touch me. And that might have actually been the play at the end of the day, but I think the Hex damage overall was pretty useful. My check to this is kind of Incineroar, so I'm going to go into my Incineroar here as he's going to click Thunderbolt on my Selfless Incineroar. And he's going to get Paralysis, which is kind of big, actually. He's going to switch to the Donphan. I know he doesn't want to stay in based on seeing that damage, so I'm going to click U-turn here as he goes into Donphan. Based on that damage, that is physically defensive Donphan. He does not have a lot of attack investment. It's either 4 or 8 EVs in attack, I would imagine. Yeah, that's a physically defensive Donphan. It's max HP, max defense Impish is what I'm imagining it is based on the damage. I don't have anything that can OHKO this from the range that it's at. Nidoking can't kill it with an Ice Beam, so I go into Serena here, and I'm just going to click Power Whip, which is going to do a ridiculous amount of damage, by the way, 84%, as he's going to get his rocks. This turn I'm going to click Rapid Spin, because there's no reason for me not to just get rid of the rocks when things like Incineroar and Weavile are taking a ton of damage, and it's breaking my Skarmory Sturdy. So I'm going to click Rapid Spin as he's going to double into the Magmortar, which is a really good play on his part because he gets the Flame Body burn off here on me. Pretty lucky, 30% chance there, but we get the rocks off our side of the field. Serena's not looking so useful at this point in the game anymore. I'm going to go into my Incineroar here to tank the Fire move. Pretty obvious Fire move coming out. It's going to do pretty much no damage. As we see, it does 18% to Incineroar. At this range, he has to hit a Focus Blast. That's the only thing that'll kill me. And a Darkest Lariat, or sorry, an Earthquake is going to blow him back. So I'm going to click the Earthquake here as he's actually going to hit the Focus Blast. The crit did not matter, actually. That crit didn't matter. 51.9% was the lowest roll of the Focus Blast, so Focus Blast was killing me, for sure. But he did have to hit the 70% accurate move. I'm surprised that he hit it. He missed it against Jay in week 1. Oh well, there goes Incineroar, which was also a really good Jirachi check, so I'm a little bit mad about that. He would have outsped me naturally anyway, so it didn't matter. In the end, the paralysis didn't matter in the end, unless I got fully parried and he missed the Focus Blast and then had another go at it. So, whatever. I'm now going to go into my Weavile, which is going to be able to revenge kill this thing with knockoff. So we'll see what he wants to do here, as he's actually just going to switch into his Buzzwole. To tank the knockoff, we're going to get rid of its leftovers. So now he's taking more residual from the burn every single turn, which is really good. Drain Punch isn't going to kill me, I don't believe, because he's burnt, but I'm going to go into Rotom anyways because it's my best switch. And I can get a nice little Hex off here, as his Drain Punch is, again, doing no kinds of damage. So I'm going to click Hex here, and that Buzzwole is taking about what I expected. Drain Punching up again. Another Hex is going to kill this thing. So I'm going to just click it again. There's really no reason for me not to, as he brings in the Thundurus. Again, another turn where I should have Willowed again, probably. We see I get a little bit lower of a roll on the Hex, just because the Thundurus' natural bulk. It doesn't have great natural bulk, but because of that, it's kind of there. So I should have probably clicked Will-O-Wisp the first time, because then that second Hex would have done a lot more damage. He might have been afraid to bring in the Thundurus even the second time, and probably would have had to sack off his Donphan or bring in the Magmortar or something to tank the Hex. I was operating under the assumption that this Magmortar is Assault Vest, but the fact that he's not switching it in on my Hex leads me to believe that he's not, maybe? He might have just been still scouting for the Volt Switch, but there's no way that I'm Volt Switching on your team when you still have a Donphan and a Thundurus alive. So I have to switch out here. I'm going to go in my Serena because it's expendable, as he's actually just going to U-turn. I could have just stayed in the Rotom, but Rotom was built to tank the Buzzwole and the Jirachi still. So actually looking at his team, Rotom doesn't look as good as I initially had thought. It was kind of a good Suicune answer, it was a good Registeel answer because I could burn the Registeel and then Hex it to death. It was a really good Sneasel answer, and it was a relatively good Pythagoras answer because I had super effective coverage for it, and I could Pain Split off and stuff like that. In the end, Rotom is not looking that fantastic, although it's still kind of my Jirachi check at this point. He's going to U-turn on me and go into Diancie here. I'm going to click... I'm going to switch into Skarmory here, which is my dedicated Mega Diancie check. I have the Iron Head for this thing, and he's probably going to scout for it after seeing that Moonblast does no kinds of damage. He's probably going to scout for the Iron Head here because he's threatened up with the Iron Head. I probably could have got a Spike Up this turn, to be honest with you, but I decided to just go for the Iron Head as he's going to bring in the Magmortar here, which is his check to Skarmory, taking no kinds of damage, and luckily we don't get burnt. I can just sack Serena here. It's basically worthless to me at this point in the game, as he's going to Hidden Power, and I don't know what kind of Hidden Power that is. I was really shocked to see what kind of Hidden Power that was. I'm imagining it's Hidden Power Water? I'll have to check out his team builder to find out what Hidden Power that was, because it was very strange to me that he brought a Hidden Power that he was trying to hit Skarmory with? Maybe? Or maybe he was predicting Nidoking? Or the Rotom? But at the same time, it seems really weird to me that he would bring that, so I was imagining he brought Hidden Power Water to be able to hit Incineroar, is what my thought was, but I don't know what that is. It could be Hidden Power Electric as well. Grass resists Electric. What else could it be? Hidden Power Ground? Could be Hidden Power Ground. If he was predicting Nidoking, could have been Hidden Power Ground. I think that HP Ice covered my team a lot better though, and it very clearly is not HP Ice because it was not very effective against Serena. I'm just going to sack off Serena here. I'm actually going to click High Jump Kick because I am the Black Belt variant, so I'm going to do quite a bit of damage to the Magmortar if that's the case, as he's going to hit the Fire Blast, so he risks the miss and hits the Fire Blast again. I'm going to bring out Weavile here. Again, Knockoff is my play to revenge kill this thing basically, because Nidoking, it's still not in range of a Nidoking Earth Power if it's Assault Vested. And I can't really click Earth Power completely freely with Thundurus running around, because if I switch into Nidoking and click Earth Power, then Thundurus gets a free switch in, and it basically gets a kill against my team. So I'm going to click Knockoff as he's actually going to go Buzzwole. I calc this, and 2 Knockoffs was roll to kill after the burn. 12.2 is a mid-roll, mid to high roll, and so after the burn we'll see that he's 12%. Showdown kind of like screws with these, so I'm not entirely sure what the actual health is of the Buzzwole, but Low Kick is safe because it's doing 12.8 min, so Low Kick is going to kill this thing, and he doesn't have Registeel, so I don't care about revealing the Low Kick. I'm just going to go for the Low Kick and kill this thing right away. It means I didn't have to click Icicle Crash and miss potentially, so I was okay with that. Now he's going to bring in the Mega Diancie, thinking that this thing is going to check me and threaten me out, except I carry the Metal Claw, so I'm going to click Metal Claw and destroy that thing. The crit did not matter even slightly. The fact that he was... Yeah, the crit didn't matter at all. Sorry, I don't want to... Based on the damage that he did to the Skarmory, he's offensive, which means that the Metal Claw... There's no way the Metal Claw crit mattered. Metal Claw was always killing that thing. I risked the 5% chance to miss the Metal Claw though. We hit it, luckily. Kill the Diancie. That thing's out of the way, no problem. Skarmory is looking absolutely horrific this game now that Diancie's gone to the Weavile. And he's actually just going to bring in the Magmortar here, which I thought was really weird because, again, I've shown that I'm going to click Knockoff against the Magmortar, and he shows the Mach Punch, man. Like, what? Okay, so... I'm going to kill the Magmortar, and we see the Shuka Berry, so I'm glad that I didn't bring the Nidoking in. We're just going to die to our own Life Orb recoil, but Weavile picking up 3 kills is kind of cool, in my mind at least. Now, in context with the Mach Punch, MB put out his team builder to take on Jolt today in the GBA semifinals, and he's running a Belly Drum Magmortar with Mach Punch. I don't know how much that influenced Fizzle's decision to put Mach Punch on a Shookaberry Magmortar. It seems very strange to me that you would run Mach Punch. I didn't know the thing got Mach Punch until MV's Team Builder today. I was blown away that Fizzle was carrying Mach Punch. I would imagine that MV's video probably influenced him quite a bit to put that on there. I don't know. I'll probably have to watch his Team Builder and figure out when he actually filmed his Team Builder. We had to reschedule twice, so I'm not sure if we had actually played on Thursday that the Magmortar would be carrying Mach Punch or not, but that's kind of just how it goes. Now that we've doubled down, I have to go into Nidoking because it's the only offensive threat that I have, and Thundurus threatens out the other two mons that I have, which I imagine is what he's going to bring in for the double down because it's a 2 out of 3 chance of getting it right. So I'm going to go Nidoking. I am Scarfed, so if he's not Scarfed, I've been playing this game, like he's a Z move. It looks to me in my head that he's Electrium Z because that would be able to blow back the Mega Gardevoir in a way that Thunderbolt wouldn't. It would also be able to dent the Dusclops and kill the Rotom-Wash. So I thought that he was Electrium Z. He's actually going to show now, based on that U-turn, being faster than me, that he is Scarfed, and he's going to sack off his Donphan to the Ice Beam. I imagine he probably predicted the Ice Beam and just sacked off the Donphan to... He probably didn't have to predict it all, and he was just sacking off Donphan regardless. Jirachi's still in the back, whatever. I'm going to stay in here as he brings in his Thundurus. I think that Ice Beam is still a perfectly good move to lock myself into here. I'm not sure if he's just like throwing the game away or not, so I'm gonna sack this Nidoking off here to the Psychic. I was really mad when I saw the Psychic there. I easily could have scouted for it. There was no reason for him to bring Thundurus back in if he didn't have coverage for me. I knew HP Ice wasn't killing me though, so I really wasn't sure what his coverage move might have been. I've used Thundurus-Therian in the past, so I should have known that it had Psychic. I used it I used Scarf Thundurus as a Naganadel check with Psychic even, so I should have known that that was coming. Skarmory was completely expendable. I had this idea in my mind that Skarmory was going to be able to handle the Jirachi, but I only have Iron Head, so what the hell am I going to do to it? So Skarmory probably could have come in there, tanked the Psychic, and then I would have at least threatened the Thundurus out, and I could have got some chip damage on something maybe. I'm not entirely sure. Either way, I'm going to go into Skarmory here because it's expendable, and Psychic is doing like 19% to me or something like that. So in comes the Jirachi on the on the Roost. So I'm going to get back up to full so my Sturdy is intact. As he's going to U-turn out just 3%. You can't really tell what kind of Jirachi that is at that point because it's doing so little damage to me. And basically any Jirachi set is going to do that little damage to me because it's 4 times resisted. I'm going to click Iron Head, get some chip on the Thundurus though, which is actually a really good chip potentially for Rotom to kill this thing with a Hex. That's basically my win con at this point, is for Rotom to kill this thing with a Hex, Pain Split on the Jirachi, and be able to Will-O-Wisp into Hex the Jirachi to death, is essentially where I'm at with this. So Skarmory, I'm going to click Iron Head again. Hopefully I live this Thunderbolt. As I actually do, and it pops my eye, I pop a berry. And I'm going to get the Iron Head off here, and I get a little bit lower of a roll than I had on the first one. If I had a little bit of a higher roll, this would have put it in range of Hex. It is still in range of Hex. A high roll Hex will kill this thing, and we still can potentially win this game. He's going to Thunderbolt me and just kill me, which is kind of what I expected to do. In comes my Rotom. My Rotom's at a range where Thunderbolt is not going to kill me, and a Hex, again, it's a roll to kill him. Crit Thunderbolt on the Skarmory did not matter whatsoever. Skarmory was dying there. Okay, so I have to click Hex here. I have to hope I hit the roll. Pain Split's obviously not going to do crap for me because I'm at such a high health, I'll just be healing him. And I don't want to burn it because then I'm going to lose the game. So I have to click Hex. I can't click Volt Switch because he's immune and it'll heal him too. So Hex is my only play. I have to click it as he's going to Thunderbolt, not knock me out. And a Hex, and I get a mid-roll on Hex, 20.3. So we end up losing the game. He's just going to Thunderbolt me here. If I got the high roll on the Hex, Jirachi cannot beat me necessarily, depending on the set. I could have Pain Splitted on the full HP Jirachi, gotten a ton of health back, burnt it, or Pain Split again, and then Hex it to death, essentially. Unless he was also Scarf Jirachi and flinched me to death with like Heart Stamp or Zen Headbutt or something like that. Again, Zen Headbutt has a chance to miss. Iron Head's not doing crap against Rotom-Wash. It's 4 times resisted. 4 times resist Steel type attacks, so I wasn't sure what was going on there. I found out after the game he was a Spadef Jirachi. That would not have been able to beat my Rotom-Wash whatsoever. Spadef Jirachi could not take on the Rotom-Wash 1v1, especially because we saw that one of his moves was U-turn. So I would imagine he had Iron Head and he told me he had Wish Protect. So Ironhead, U-turn, Wish Protect. He can't beat Rotom-Wash with that set. So if I got the Hex Roll, I actually could have won this game. Instead, we lose 0-2, and we move to 0-2 -5. And Fizzle's going to move to 1-1 -2. Next week we take on Devin, Rosa, and the Detroit Decidueyes. We've played Devin in the D&D, so if you've seen those matches, you'll know who Devin is. We're actually playing on Monday, so I'm going to get that stuff filmed and out to you guys pretty much ASAP. I'm moving next week, so I only have a few days in the week to sort of actually play my league battles. So that'll be kind of neat. And yeah, that's basically it for me, and I'll see you guys for our match in week 3 against Devin.